highest organizations. We're not doing that again. And some of these other priorities that you mentioned, there are many that we could list that are just outrageous. It has nothing to do with the current proposal to keep the government in operation for 7 more weeks so that we continue the appropriations process. We're trying to fund the government, and you need Republicans and Democrats to work together to get that done. With regard to whether the furloughed civilian employees of the federal government will receive back pay, it is true that in previous shutdowns, many or most of them have been paid for the time that they were furloughed. But there is new legal analysis. I don't know the details. I just saw a headline this morning. I'm not read in on it, and I haven't spoken to the White House about it. But there are some legal analysts who are saying that that may not be appropriate or necessary in terms of the law requiring that back pay be provided. So I'm sure that'll be there will be a lot of discussion about that. But there are legal analysts who think that that is not something that government should do. That, if that is true, that should turn up the urgency and the necessity of the Democrats doing the right thing here. Even more pain, more than I just listed for more people. So we got to figure it out. Back row, yes, sir.
Speaker, you've spoken repeatedly since the shutdown began about the impact on FEMA, the National Flood Insurance Program. Talk about how you're from a hurricane state. If this is a priority for you, why not bring the House back and vote on a reauthorization for NFIP or for WIC or troops pay or all those things for that matter?
Well, there's a lot of issues that we need to address, and we work on flood insurance, the flood insurance program all the time, those of us in hurricane states. But the work of the House has been done, and we have to get the Senate to reopen the government so that we can come back and handle all of these very important end-of-the-year issues. There's a lot of things on the table. FEMA has sufficient resources right now to do that. We do have to extend the flood insurance program, annually, effectively, to make sure that it's there. But we'll do that. We'll do it in due course. There's a lot of end-of-year issues that are being conflated with this very simple issue of keeping the government open. And that is the first and most immediate priority, and we must use every leverage point we have to force the Democrats to do that. And that's why we're handling the schedule the way we are. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thanks, sir. You've talked about Leader Schumer's record with regards to continuing resolutions. Your record, you've voted against continuing resolutions in the past, including when Speaker McCarthy was the Speaker. How do you explain your stance now versus yours previously?
Yeah, different circumstances, different times. When we did CRs in the past, you had leverage points of things that when the Democrats were trying to put their partisan priorities in, we were trying to use whatever leverage we had in the minority to take them out. Very important distinction right now. We did not put in Republican priorities in the clean CR. I could have put some of our priorities or poison pills or things that Democrats had done in the past to us. We didn't. And that's why there's nothing to negotiate right now. People say, why aren't you negotiating? I don't have anything to offer. I can't go to a clean CR and say, let me pull off the Republican priority and make it more palatable for you, because we didn't add that in. It's simply a status quo continuance. One of the things we objected to back then was these were Biden-level policies and spending. I still object to that. But what I'm trying to do is keep the government open so that we can readjust those things. And as I gave you the long background yesterday, the summary of how we got to where we are, the appropriations process is working again. And we're going to be able to reprioritize federal spending, but we have to allow the time for that to continue, and we need 7 more weeks. But every day that they keep the government open, it gives us less time to finish the job.
I'm talking about when McCarthy was the Speaker and you guys had the majority in 2023.
Yeah, well, we had divided government as well, right? The Democrats were, Chuck Schumer was over here negotiating in the Senate, and that's what's so ironic about it. When we were in the Oval Office, Chuck Schumer looked the president in the eyes and said, I've always been very fair. I've always allowed the Republicans their priorities. And I just looked at him like, oh, what? I'm sitting right here. I was the guy you were negotiating with. I called him at the 11th hour, I remember very vividly, and asked him not to put in a terrible poison pill that was a big Democrat priority that is outrageous to the conservatives. And he said, yeah, I'm sorry, Speaker, can't help you, and literally hung up on me, So now he wants me to be a fair broker. I have been. I gave him much more grace than he ever deserved. Yes, sir. Jake, sorry.
As a matter of principle on the back pay, I mean, understanding that there are people who have opinions about everything and analysis about everything, do you believe as a matter of principle that furloughed workers should receive back pay?
Yeah, I hope that the furloughed workers receive back pay, of course. We have some extraordinary Americans who serve the federal government, and they serve valiantly, and they work hard, and they serve in these various agencies doing really important work. I can tell you the president believes that as well. He and I have talked about this personally. He doesn't want people to go without pay, and that's why he pleaded with Chuck Schumer to do the right thing and vote to keep the government open. We don't want this to happen. The key point, the important point to remember here is this can stop right now. They'll get another opportunity to change course and open the government. And then we'll have all these policy debates, as we always do. This, again, is a deliberative body. We've got 535 individuals serving here between the Senate and the House. We've got to have the time to do all the deliberation, but you got to have the lights on to do it, and that's the whole point. Yes, sir.
Some of your own members